So I've shown you some of my favorite 15-minute dinners, and I really think every pro home cook should have their own set of meals that they can turn to every single week. And guess what? It's time for some more inspiration, and I think I know the perfect place to start.
So I've made a weeknight meal or two in my time, and today I've got 4 dishes that I turn to all the time. They are technique-based, they can be used with just about any ingredients you have in the fridge, and they all come together in under 15 minutes.
What do you think makes, a successful, quick 15-minute meal?
Yeah, so for me, successful, quick 15-minute meal is gonna be something that fills me up, something that's like fairly balanced with proteins and vegetables, and then simple ingredients. So if I can keep it under 5 or 6 core components and then just augment with like spices or whatever else I happen to have, like that's kind of the bare minimums that I like to work with. Keeping things simple, and that's honestly where some of the best food comes from. So this pasta I make quite literally probably once a week, and it's just a risotto style pasta that comes together in a single pan with basically whatever you happen to have in the fridge. To start, I'm gonna preheat the saute pan over medium with a little drizzle of olive oil, and I like using a high-sided pot or a wok with plenty of room since this is a one-pot pasta. Remove the casing from the Italian sausage and then toss that into our hot pan. And I'm gonna break this up a bit and just let it cook down, but meanwhile, we can prep the vegetables. So first, very thinly slice 2 cloves of garlic. Then we're gonna slide the garlic out of the way and chop the broccoli rabe. So I like to cut off the base since it's a little tougher, then just cut the rest with your knife.
So your veg is prepped, that took no time. Now you're gonna take the sausage out?
Yeah, exactly. So just scooping this sausage out into here, and then all our veg is gonna come right back into this pan just to saute for, a minute or so. Add a touch more oil.
And this is pretty much all of the flavor.
Exactly, yeah. So this could be anything. This could be fresh stuff like we're using today. This could be leftover roasted vegetables. It could literally be anything you want it to be, but I just happen to like, exactly. I just happen to like this flavor combination a lot. And let that saute for like 30 seconds. And then once that's gone, just come in with the greens. And then a little sprinkle of salt over the top. And then we're just gonna let this saute down until it's cooked down much more than it will be right now. So there's gonna be a little bit of fond on the bottom here, but once we add in some water, that's gonna steam right off and come off the pan. So I'm just gonna transfer this over with our sausage, let it chill out, and then we're gonna cook the pasta. So let me
This is where things get interesting.
Yeah, exactly. This is where it takes a little bit of the art of the technique. Add 6 to 8 ounces or about half a box of your favorite dried pasta straight to the pan, along with enough water to just barely submerge the pasta. Now we're gonna bring this up to a boil and let that water completely reduce down. So we need to keep an eye on it and stir this occasionally, but this is a great time where you can clean up the kitchen and prepare any items like our fresh grated parm. So the pasta is basically done cooking, and I'm noticing I added a little bit too much water, so I'm just gonna pour some of this off into the sink and let it continue to cook down until it gets nice and starchy and a thicker sauce.
So that's legal as a home cook?
Exactly.
You can make
yes.
an adjustment like that?
You can make
Right,
adjustments.
perfect.
This is the whole point, is like you have to be able to use your senses a little bit. It's not gonna come out the exact same every time, depends on pasta shapes, and we keep it real around here. Yeah, so way less water now, and now I'm gonna let this continue cooking in this, and it should be a couple minutes or two, and then we'll make our sauce. So with the water very reduced down and the pasta is basically cooked through, we're gonna come in with 3/4 of the grated parm, and then stir that until it becomes a cohesive sauce. Again, you may need to adjust a bit with either more water or more cheese, depending on how that sauce is looking. Once the sauce has reached our desired consistency, I'm gonna come in with a little bit more of that fresh parm and then toss in the cooked sausage and veggies all into the pot and stir everything until it's cohesive, and then we are ready to serve.
I made a very similar pasta this morning. These are lentil noodles.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Very, very similar. But what's cool about this was the technique to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I love, finding other people's 15-minute meals, because everyone has their own unique techniques. And I liked how that sauce came together.
Yeah, it's kind of cool just like find what works for like you and your home kitchen.
Yeah. This is lunch. Ethan just got straight off the flight. We were like, we're doing the pasta first.
Yeah, I just love that you can like pair anything with it too. I mean, as Philly guys, like the broccoli rabe.
That's true. Forgot we share that broccoli rabe and sausage sandwich in our bones. Yeah, it just nails that classic Italian dish.
Yep.
Or is that American Italian?
I think it's, probably American Italian for sure.
Like, you're not losing anything from that technique. It tastes exactly like just a perfectly executed pasta, so I love it. All right, we just had a delicious lunch. Now what's for dinner?
For dinner is one of my favorite tacos I ever had in Mexico City, and I did eat a lot of them, but it is the Poblano con queso taco. To start, I'm gonna set the oven on broil over high while we prep the vegetables. So first, cut the top off of the poblanos and remove the seed core. Now, traditionally for this dish, these peppers are stuffed with Mexican manchego, but can be a little bit hard to find in the States. So in this case, Monterey Jack is a nice substitute. And we're just gonna cut that into large chunks and place them right in the center of the pepper. And this is not a dish where you wanna skimp on the cheese. So first, place a half of a small onion and then followed by a large number of tomatoes. And I like using these small ones just because they're a little sweeter and they roast up really nicely in the oven. Next, I'm gonna add a light drizzle of oil over the top of the vegetables. Then I'll place them straight under the broiler to roast. Now, while that's heating up in the broiler, I'm gonna grab out my saute pan and a couple of tortillas.
How are these babies looking?
Nice and blistered.
That's what you want on the
Exactly, that's what I'm looking for.
Oh, the full hands, I like that. Some would say that would be insane, but
Yeah.
you got chef fingers. True pro home cook has chef fingers, but not advised.
Yeah, use something else. It took about 5 minutes for those tomatoes and poblanos to get some nice toasty char on them, and additionally some of that cheese melted all over the sheet pan. Now for the salsa, I'm gonna get out the food processor and toss in all of the tomatoes, followed by the roasted onion. To bump up the heat and add a little bit of smoky flavor, I'm gonna add in a single chipotle and adobo sauce, along with some fresh cilantro, and this is a good salsa to keep in the stems. Lastly, I'm gonna squirt in some lime juice and a nice sprinkle of salt, and then we'll blend that together before giving this a taste to adjust the flavors.
Interested in tasting on that.
Yeah, pretty good. Say maybe a little bit more lime, but I'll let you decide.
Chipotle is nice.
Yeah, I think touch more salt, touch more lime. I think that's where it is. Just got to dial in that flavor a little bit. With the basic roasted salsa done, let's get back to those poblanos. So first, I'm going to cut them into slices and then just cut them across into chopped pieces where that pepper and the cheese start to meld together. Next, I'm gonna move the chopped poblano and cheese to the saute pan, and there's no need to add any extra oil or fat to this because the cheese is gonna have plenty of fat as it melts down and it's gonna be released, letting it get nice, stringy, and toasty.
Now that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I want some crispy, cheesy bits in
We
there.
certainly have the fat content on that Monterey Jack.
Yeah. With our poblano and cheese filling done, I'm gonna section these into 3 portions to load up our tortillas, which are ready for serving. So you could definitely eat these as is, they're ready to go, but for a nice touch, if your tortillas are a little firm, we're gonna fry them up on the bottom before we actually serve them.
Oh my God. Sometimes just like the simplest things are the best.
Yeah, this is literally 3 ingredients.
That's like a quesadilla.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the greatest, simplest creations.
So this was a true collaboration because Ethan told me that he could make this in under 10 minutes with just the fillings. So
Yeah.
like, can we slip in a salsa in there? So I feel like, I don't know.
Hey, homemade
the
salsa.
Salsa took this to a whole
Yeah.
other level. But let's see. I've never had this. You've probably eaten 1,000 of these. That's insane. You know what it is? It's a quesadilla taco.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's not either one of those.
Yeah, it's a different experience, but like it meshes the two very closely.
It's just one of those perfect vegetarian dishes.
Yeah.
Where you don't
Yep.
miss meat at all. It really holds its own. Love that. All right. I want to take a quick minute to tell you about today's video sponsor, Mizzen. And one of the main drivers of these recipes today is their carbon steel pan, which has quickly become the star of these 15-minute meals. It's lighter than cast iron, giving it great versatility in the kitchen, but it still does an incredible job retaining heat for excellent searing abilities. And by just using this pan a bunch, you actually start to trap in those layers of microscopic polymerized oil, building that naturally non-stick surface. And what I've really grown to love about carbon steel is that it patinas over time. So you won't have that same desire or need to keep it spotless like a stainless steel pan. So when I've done some serious cooking, all I do is take some type of heavy duty scrubber, give it a wash with some warm water, and boom, looking slick and ready for use. So if you're interested in the Mizzen carbon steel pan or any of their other products, click the link below in the description and use code word ProHomeCooks for 20% off your first order. Now back to some more 15-minute meals. So We ate well yesterday.
Oh yeah.
This is day 2. What's for lunch?
So we're gonna work up a little Brussels sprout salad, one of my favorite ways to use Brussels sprouts, and then put some chicken on top and go from there.
You gotta have a salad, a go-to salad in your 15-minute arsenal. So this is yours?
This is my go-to, yeah. To start, I'm gonna preheat the saute pan, and then for our chicken breast, my favorite way to quickly flavor this is to use a mayo marinade. So in this case, just gonna plop some mayo on there and a bunch of black pepper.
It's an extreme amount of black pepper. What's the deal?
So when I make black pepper chicken, it's better have a ton of black pepper on it, or else what's the point? It'll be a little spicy, but it's like my favorite way to do it. I rub the mayo all over the chicken breast, which is gonna help that black pepper stick and also act as our oil for the pan since we won't need any. My favorite base is just to very thinly slice Brussels sprouts. Great way to get some extra greens in. Next up, I'm just gonna chop up cucumber into some cubes, go for that Greek salad vibe. Then, of course, we're gonna add some red onion for a little bit of bite. Thinly slice these into half moons probably. And then lastly, we're just gonna drop some. We're just gonna go through some of these tomatoes, add a little bit of juiciness and some of the sweetness because they're a little bit smaller. Chickpeas is another way just to get some, extra protein in there. Super easy, just have some canned chickpeas. We'll drain them and just toss everything together. So it's kind of a chunky salad, which I'm a big fan of. Then for me and my salads, while I have all the vegetables in here, I like to give them just a first little layering of salt. We're gonna add the dressing later, but I find that this just helps all those flavors start working together, starts releasing some of their natural flavors ahead of time before we actually put on that dressing.
So now our pan is preheated.
Yep.
So are you going just straight up, no oil, since all that oil?
Exactly. Since mayo is an emulsion of eggs and oil, you actually don't need to add any extra oil. Like this is gonna be our oil for this, and it's just a great way to do chicken breast or skinless pieces.
That's searing. Always multitasking for these 15-minute meals.
Yep, we'll make a super basic Greek dressing with olive oil and lemon and then just a couple spices, and that's just gonna really make everything nice and cohesive. So first I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil to this container, and then I'm just gonna add some acid. In this case, it's gonna be a lemon, and I like my vinaigrettes a little bit more on the acidic side, but you can control the amount that you want to.
You're watching that chicken?
Yes, we will need to flip that over. We should probably do that now.
Oh, wow, perfect.
Yeah, all that pepper in there, like that's what I'm after. So now we're gonna customize this with a couple of spices. So I'm gonna go with a little pinch of oregano. We're gonna toss in some of this crushed mint for a little bit of spice, some red chili flake, and of course a little pinch of salt. So I'm gonna flip this over once and then turn this off the heat, and then that should be about done by the time we're ready to assemble. Just a little bit more acidity for my tastes, and then another sprinkle of salt as well.
Dressing.
Save a little bit just in case.
Fresh feta.
Yeah, my absolute favorite. This is how I eat salads, otherwise I don't really eat them.
Powerful, even.
Yep.
Cooked.
Oh yeah.
Watching this whole thing, I knew this was being added to my arsenal. That's a power salad. Oh, Jesus. That was not a power move, spilling that all over. It's a skill figuring out how to make raw greens edible, and this is done perfectly.
Yeah, that's the big thing with salads, is that people make salads that they don't really like. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and for this one, I mean, the textures are really like what makes a good salad.
Texture, flavor, balance of ingredients.
Yep.
Protein. That's a salad that will hold well.
Yeah.
You know, you make one batch and it's good in the fridge for like, I don't know, 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. You can make big batches, store them in a container. You have lunches for a couple days if you need it.
Love it. The final 15-minute meal, what's on the menu?
We're gonna finish off strong with the burger. Everyone's gotta have a good go-to burger recipe, and we're gonna make a little healthier version this time around.
What makes it healthy?
We're gonna use ground turkey, so a little bit leaner than your traditional, heavy beef, high fat, so a little bit lighter, but still very, very delicious. So first, I'm gonna preheat the saute pan, and then I have about a pound of mixed ground turkey that I'm gonna shape into roughly quarter-pound balls. This is a 50-50 blend of both dark turkey meat and lean turkey meat, which is gonna give me some extra fattiness for the burger, as opposed to your typical very lean ground turkey. And then I have half an onion here that I'm gonna slice up as thinly as possible.
It's a sacrilege going not pole to pole.
So this is, I actually touched this in the video. This is one of the instances where it might be worth it to go orbital because we want all the onion flavor. So this is gonna disrupt more onion cells, or the lacrimators, so it's gonna give more oniony flavor, which in this case, pretty desirable, I think.
Those goddamn lacrimators.
Yep. So we're basically following the technique from an Oklahoma onion smash burger, which we're just gonna salt these up and then put them down in our pan and smash them, but put onions before we flip it so those kind of caramelize down. So make sure our pan is nice and ripping hot. I need a spatula. Do you have any that are not flimsy or that don't have holes?
Yeah, I got crafty. That's like part of this series. I'm new in this kitchen.
All right, we can use a pan. We can use a pan. This will work. Good old flat bottom pan should get the job done. So I'm gonna probably grease the bottom of this just in case. I don't want it to stick. Things that you never know might come in handy, but better to be safe and just grease this now instead of getting some stick, as learned here. Now we're gonna pop these in, smash them, and then put our onions on.
Oh, no oil.
Yeah, no oil is necessary. There should be enough fat in the turkey.
Oh.
Little stickage, but that's okay. That's okay. Now,
this is the 10-inch carbon steel, which maybe can fit 2 burgers.
yeah, it's gonna be a little crowded, but
if you've got a bigger one, which I have, that's not seasoned, you can do them all.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're working. We're working.
Over.
Then thinly sliced onions right into the burger itself. And then a little more salt as well on the other side. Then I'm just gonna let those cook for another like 15 to 20 seconds. Then we'll flip them over, let those onions cook down, put some cheese in the middle and stack them up. Super easy. So we're gonna get some broccoli going as well. So we're just gonna cook this in the pan after these are out. Just a super quick rough chop to steam these up. So I'm just gonna rough chop this just so it cooks fairly quick. This is more about getting some veggies on the plate rather than
just eating a burger.
Exactly.
I see some caramelization, as Maddie Matheson would say.
Yep.
Some caramelization.
Another little bit of time.
Little stickage.
Yeah, a little stickage. This is where if you do have a metal spatula, this it scrapes very, very well. Now I'm gonna throw a little cheese on this to start melting. You got that fancy cheddar.
Bougie cheddar.
Just because this is a little bit easier for melting, I'm gonna use this grater. I typically just do single cheese in between, so especially for this leaner beef, it's kind of gonna give it that like fatty, kind of juicy mouthfeel, like popping it right in the center. I'm gonna turn this down. Kind of lost most of my onions, but it's okay. And then that's basically done. We're just gonna pop that on the burger. We're gonna slice this in half. It's a little bit cold and firm, so we're just gonna let that kind of steam a little bit. So after my burger is out of the pan, I'm gonna add a little drizzle of oil back to the pan and toss in the broccoli along with a pinch of salt and just kind of stir that up. Next, I'm gonna add some water to the broccoli, which will start steaming right away and also release anything that is stuck on the bottom of the pan. So pop a lid on the broccoli, and while that's steaming, I'm gonna quickly create our burger sauce. For the burger sauce, I'm gonna add 2 spoonfuls of mayo, 1 spoonful of mustard, and then I'm gonna chop up some pickles and add those as well. To season a little bit more, I'm gonna add a sprinkle of paprika and then about 10 or 15 cranks of black pepper and just mix that up and give it a taste, which will be perfect for our burger. With the sauce done, back at the broccoli, I'm gonna pull the lid off and let any excess water evaporate and then let that saute in the oil for 2 to 3 minutes before we can start building our burger.
Not a bad way to end things.
Yeah, not too shabby. Can never go wrong with the burger.
Home cook to home cook. We know that wasn't the best execution.
No, it wasn't, but that's perfectly fine. Like as a home cook, that's what happens.
Yeah. This is like a true, throw it together. Like this broccoli doesn't look good, but it's gonna taste great. You need the greens.
Yeah, you need a side of something. I mean, you can just eat burgers if you want, but it is always nice to have, some greens to add to that.
That's actually fantastic.
Yeah.
Salty, just umami, like a lot of flavor packed in that broccoli, right?
Yeah, because we were able to get and pick up some of those like oniony flavors from actually cooking the burger, which is nice.
What's the word again?
The lacrimators. Yeah.
There's definitely some lacrimation.
Yeah.
Oh, I made these buns.
Yeah.
I made these yesterday. Not yesterday, 2 days ago. It's got the fast foody with the onions, like the White Castle thing going on.
Yep. It's still like super juicy and like just enjoyable, you know?
Who said you can't have roasted veg on your burger?
Yeah, like broccoli and burgers, you know, probably not gonna see that at any restaurant, but when you're at home, you can make it how you want to.
So dude, thanks for sharing your secrets with everyone out there. I feel like you were the perfect fit for this series. Being a pro home cook is just putting food on the table, but making sure it tastes delicious. And all of these meals did that, and I feel like that's what you're teaching on your channel.
All the meals that we went through, like those were very kind of specific combinations, but hopefully you guys also took away that like those are kind of base techniques as well, where you could add any kind of variety of things that you happen to have in the fridge.
Customization, that's the key. Don't be relying on the recipe. Figure out these techniques and use what you have at home. Follow this guy. You want to say your channel?
Yeah, just Ethan Chlebowski on every social platform. Yeah, come check me out on YouTube, and I've got plenty more recipes that are easy from a variety of different places.
Let's just cut it at that. We've said enough.